Good morning, everyone. Before I begin with the presentation, I would like to pay my highly respect to lecturers and everyone present. My name is Lun Sodanek, a member of Group 4. I am pleased to present my research title, which is University Student Perceptions of Mental Well-Being and its Influences on Their Academic Learning. To begin with, I would like to introduce you to the overview of our presentation. Our presentation consisted of three main parts, which cover three chapters of our research. The first one is the introduction of our research. Second, literary review. And third, the research method that will be used in our study. Now, let's begin with the introductions. The first point of the introduction that I'm going to talk about is background of the studies. After we have done a research and understanding the background of our study, we have divided those information into 3 points. The first point is the direct link between well-being and success. Second, academic, social, and environmental sectors. Third, the gap in student perception and life experiences. Now let's start with the first point, the direct link between well-being and success. Student well-being has become a paramount concern in higher education. We know that mental health is directly tied to academic performance, engagement, and long-term stress. However, university life brings significant challenges, heavy workloads, financial pressure, and the stress of moving far from home. While we know these factors can lead to burnout and impaired concentration, we also know that protective factors like social support and healthy routines can help. While most research use clinical or medical approaches, there is a critical need to capture student personal voice and perceptions to understand how mental well-being influences their actual study habit and learning. My study is grounded in the belief that understanding how students perceive these experiences is key to supporting their academic journey. And this brings us to the core problem of our research, which we will discuss in the next slide. The research problem. The research problem that we have found first, while universities are integrating new technologies and mental health problems, there is a gap in student centered data. Most current research relies on grades or medical data rather than the student personal view and everyday learning experiences. Second, without understanding this personal perspective, university support system and instructional design may fail to meet the actual needs of students or worse, unintentionally reduce their motivation. This lack of insights into how students perceive their well-being make it difficult for readers to design effective lesson, technology, and support services. And guided by this problem, our research aimed to explore the relationship between students' mental health perception and their academic performance. Specifically, it seeks to examine how these personal views influence motivation to provide ev- ad- advice that help university leaders improve decision making for instructional design and student support. By shifting the focus from critical diagnosis to student voice, the study seeks to provide actionable insights for more effective and educational environments.
Thank you and welcome to my path. My name is Vichia and today I'm going to talk about research question, our research gap and why our study is important. First, let's look at our research question. To reach our goal, we want to answer two main things. If you look at the question is about how the student feel their mental well-being after their learning. As you read the second question, that question is about how can the university use our finding to make a better decision, like improving lesson or supporting the student better. So I hope you understand our research question. For the next slide, I'm going to tell you about our research gap. The research gap is simply the missing information in the topic. In the past, more of study about mental health only look at the number, like test grade or the level of stress. The missing part is the student real voice. Our study fills this gap because we focus on the student personal feeling and real world experience, not just number. Okay, signification of the study, why it is important. Because if filling this gap, our study is very beneficial. First, it helps teacher and university truly understand students. Sometimes if a student lack motivation or focus, it is not because they are weak at study. Often it is because of stress or anxiety. Our research helps lecturers see this real problem instead of just looking at the medical solution. For the next point, our study helps university make a better plan. Instead of telling a student to go to see a doctor, the university can use our research to create a better support system. For example, they can improve workload management, offer flexible teaching, and provide better academic advice that surely help us successfully. And thank you for listening. I will give my next part to my partner.
Okay, now we move to the next point, that talking about the literature review. For the literature review, as we know that it's the important part of the research, it helps a researcher understand what has already been studied, provide a critical backgrounds, and connect the students, the study, and existing knowledge. There are four main steps in conducting a literature review. First one is research for the relevant literature. Second is we review the selected study. The third one is develop a critical framework. Finally, we develop a conceptual framework. The theoretical framework is the best on existing theories and focusing on the key concepts and their relationship in the study. And we move to the critical review. There are three main points that I want to talk about. For the first one is the PAMA model, and it explains well-being through five elements. For the first one, is positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and accomplishments. When those areas are improved, the student tends to feel better and perform better in academically. For the second one is the mental health continuum. It shows that the mental health is on the structure from the fluorescence and the light guessings. This model helps us understand how students mood, sleep, and perform may change. The third one is the self-efficacy theory. It explains that students believe in their ability, influenced by their emotions and success. Students with a high confidence usually handling a challenge better. And for the concept of the mental well-being, it's not only about having a healthy body, it is about how we feel, think, and manage stress in daily life. According to the World Health Organization, mental well-being means feeling good, handling a normal life pressures, and being able to work for students effectively. For students, this means facing a difficulty staying balanced and continuing to move forward. Good mental well-being also helps students feel happier and mental positive relationship. In a simple term, mental well-being is about having a healthy mind that allow a person to live well and perform successfully in life and education. Now move to the next point.
First of all, I would like to pay my high respect to lecturer, and today I will be presented about chapter 2 with a few aspects in chapter 2. So now let's begin with academic learning in higher education. So academic in higher education isn't only about to attending class or to achieving a high grade or high GPA, but it is also about developing some skills of students also. So, according to Biggs and Tang in 2011, it is also involved in developing something such as problem solving skills, the ability to apply knowledge in real life situation, as well as critical thinking skills. And moreover, university students also need to become an independent students and take responsible for their own learning. So, for example, they need to have self learning, organize the schedules, or to evaluate their academics progress, and as well as to submit their assignment on time. And according to Zimmerman in 2002, they explains that self-learning helps students to plan to evaluate their learning progress. In addition, according to Koo in 2009, also highlighted that active engagement and focus improvement also engage and focus improve understanding and academic achievement for students. Last but not least, academic learning is influenced not only by accident factor but it also by personal factors. It helps students to gain knowledge and to develop essential skills for their future career. Moving on to next point is about students' perception of mental well-being. So first, let take a look at what is perception. So perception mean it's referred to how students interpret and evaluate their own mental well-being or their own feeling. And in psychology, perception is not only about experiencing emotions, but it also how individual be able to interpret and to understand those emotions. So, in this study, we focus specifically on university students' perception regarding their own mental well-being, and this include how they evaluate their motivation, their anxiety, stress levels, their class concentrations, isolations, or deprivation sometimes, and how they cope with their academic pressure also. Besides, perceptions can be divided into positive and negative aspects. For like here, positive perception may include feelings such as motivation, confidence in speaking, in learning, or emotional stable. On the other hand, negative perception also may also involve stress or anxiety, lack of concentration, or emotional instability. And these perceptions are important because it is influence students' study approaches, their learning method, their class participation, and lastly, their overall academic performance. Okay. Next is the next point is about influences of mental well-being on academic learning. So academic learning is influenced by many factors, as such as school-related factors, family background. As we can see, sometimes students can face with financial problems or some related problems of their family and social environment. Um, Judging or miscommunication and so on, and also about personal factors. Among these factors, mental well-being is one of the most important that mental well-being is one of the most important personal factors. Hey, mental well-being plays a crucial role in academic success. Why? Because positive mental health enhance learning progress, while negative mental health can only destroy their motivation or can hinder their academic performance and may lead to failure. Next, academics learning is like a long journey with up and downs. So mental well-being can shift the balance either positively or negatively. Therefore, understanding how mental well-being influences academic learning is essential because it helps students to recognize their emotion, condition, and to develop better learning strategy to improve their academic outcome. That is all for influence of mental well-being. So next, let's take a look at the related point, which the first one is about motivation. So motivation. In terms of motivation, research show that mental well-being has a strong influence. According to Lisa in 2024, found that students with healthy mental well-being are more likely to feel motivated and make progress in their studies. They tend to have higher energy and strong commitment toward their academic goals. However, students who experience stress and anxiety can often feel less energies or less capable of doing something or pursuing their academics objective. So they kind of lost motivated in learning or to pursue their academic learning. Yeah. And next is that this relationship can be explained by self determination theory, or we call it SDT. And according to the theory, individuals have three basic physical needs, which are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And lastly, if these needs are not satisfied, motivation will be decreased. For example, if students feel isolated or stressed, their need for relatedness can might not meet, which can reduce their motivation to learn. Next is about concentration. Concentration also a relevant point because it is also another important aspect. So, according to cognitive load theory, working memory has limited capacity. Capacity. It can only process a certain amount of information at one time. So, students who suffer from mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, often experience overthinking, and their mind may be filled with worry or distress, and it could reduce their ability to focus on academic tasks. As a result, their attendance span becomes shorter. Their attention span becomes shorter, and learning becomes more difficult and slower. So they might lead to a slow learner. Uh, In sum, concentration acts as a key factor in academic learning. So, if mental well being is poor, concentration decreases, which negatively affect academics performance. And that is all for my part. Thank you.
So let's continue to another part, which is the influences of mental well-being on academic learning. So academic learning is like a long journey, and there is up and down, and simple variable can shift the balance as well. Also, the study have shown that there are many factors that affect academic learning among students, such as school-related factor, personal factors, and family and social factors, or even with environmental factors of their school too. And one of the most influential is among personal factor, which is mental well-being. And mental well-being is also important for academic success too, because positive mental health enhance positive progress. In order to academic learning, negative mental health promotes negative progress that can lead to academic failure as well. Therefore, understanding the influence of mental well-being on academic learning is important for students in order to develop a better learning strategy. So, the factor of which include motivation. So recently there have been studies on how mental well-being influence motivation in academic learning among students. And it is also found that when students have healthy mental health, they are likely to feel more motivated to learn and make progress in their learning as well. However, this has also been supported by multiple research that students with poor mental health are struggling with stress and anxiety, and they are also less likely to feel energized or capable of pursuing academic goals as well. And one theory that best describe about phenomenon is that the self-determination theory, and this theory also state that humans all have three physical needs such as autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And when those needs are not well met, motivation tend to decrease. And in this case, if students experience stress or isolation, their relatedness is not met, which they can lead to the loss of motivation as well. And the second factor is concentration. So according to the cognitive load theory, cognitive load refers to the amount of information that our working memory can process at any given time. And those who suffer with mental illness tend to overthinking more than normal people, and this can reduce their brain capacity for academic tasks as well. And if a student suffers with depression or anxiety, their brain would be filled with thoughts and distress with no space for focusing on their learning. And this also shortens their attention span that could make their study progress even more challenging as well. And the last factor of which is productivity. So many researchers have conducted studies on the relationship between mental well-being and academic productivity, and as a result, mental well-being influence how effectively the students can learn and perform academically. And as have mentioned earlier, motivation and concentration are connected to learning productivity. And students with positive mental health possess a better motivation and concentration that can support greater productivity within their learning outcome as well. And the better their mental health, the more they contribute to their performance, and the weaker their mental health, the more they will likely to avoid their tasks, which can reduce their productivity. So let's moving to another point, which is conceptual framework. So the conceptual framework for this study indicates the clear pathway that connects the research foundation to the scope of study with the support of the theoretical framework. And this research is not only about the observational research, but it is guided by psychological principles that provide a structured understanding of well-being. And for the score of the study, the framework identify two variables that connect with each other. And this connection of the two variables can influence the academic learning, but this framework conclude that academic outcomes is determined by how student pursues and experience their own psychological state. So the next chapter, which is chapter 3, is about the research methodology. So in this chapter involve the research setting. So the research study will take place at the Royal University of Phnom Penh, which is RUPP, because it is the biggest and the most famous public university in Cambodia. Moreover, this place is chosen because it is the most suitable place that many students more come from different regions in order to learn there. And despite the popularity of the school, many students at there feel a lot of pressure to succeed in their exams and assignment because it has a very high standard for its classes. So this environment is a good place to study how mental health of a student, such as feeling stressed, anxious, or motivated, affect their ability to study and succeed in school in order to have good grades. Furthermore, the university environment at there is diverse because the students study everything from foreign languages to social science. So the variety allows the researcher to get different information about mental health and the university life as well. And in addition, since the campus is in the busy capital city of Phnom Penh, the study can show a clear picture of their challenges like long commute and being away from their families and in the provinces as well. And by conducting the research here, the study can get a realistic picture of what life is like for a modern Cambodian university student and how their inner feelings impact their ability to focus on their degrees as well.
First of all, I would like to pay my highly respect to lecturer, and I'm going to talk about research design. So for this study, we use a qualitative research design to understand how students at Royal University of Phnom Penh perceive mental well-being and how it influences their academic learning. We chose qualitative research because it focuses on students' personal experiences, feelings, and opinions. Mental well-being is a personal and sensitive topic, so it is important to allow participants to explain their thoughts in their own words. This approach helps us gain deeper and more meaningful insights rather than just numbers or statistics. The study is also exploratory, which it allows us to explore the topic in an open and flexible way. Students may have different perceptions of mental well-being depending on their academic level, background, and personal experiences. So, therefore, qualitative research helps us understand these different perspectives in detail. Through this design, we aim to identify important themes and patterns about how RUPP students understand mental well-being, what factors influence it, and how it affects their concentration, motivation, class participation, and academic performance. Overall, this approach helps us gain a clearer and more detailed understanding of students' perception. 3.3, which is research size and sampling. Now I will explain the research size and sampling. The population of this study includes students who are currently studying at Royal University of Phnom Penh. Since this research focuses on mental well-being and personal experiences, qualitative sampling is appropriate. The sample size is not predetermined in advance. Instead, interviews will continue until data saturation is reached. Data saturation means that no new information or themes are found from additional interviews. We use convenience sampling to select participants because RUPP has a large number of students. We first invite 5 students to participate in the interviews. If saturation is not reached, more students will be invited. Also, the criteria for selecting participants are they must be current students at Royal University of Phnom Penh, they must have experience or understanding of mental well-being, and they must not have graduated yet. So these criteria ensure that the participants are suitable and relevant for the research topic. 3.4 is about data collection method. The study collects data through semi-structured interviews. Interviews are the best method for this research because they allow participants to share detailed experiences and feelings that numerical data cannot show. Initially, 5 students from Royal University of Phnom Penh will be selected. A small number of participants allow the researchers to spend more time with each other and discuss their habits and mental well-being in depth. The interviews will be conducted using Microsoft Teams. There are 2 main reasons for choosing this platform. First, Microsoft Teams is commonly used at RUPP, so participants can easily join the interview. It also allows them to stay in a comfortable and private place, which is important when discussing sensitive topics like mental well-being. Second is Microsoft Teams has a recording and suitable feature. This ensures that no important information is lost and helps researchers prepare accurate transcripts for data analysis. Before starting the interview, researchers will clearly explain the purpose of the study and ask for permission to record the session. Participants will also be assured that their names and personal information will be kept strictly confidential. Each interview will also last about 30 to 45 minutes and will use prepared guiding questions to explore students' perspectives on mental well being and academic learning.
I'm Tida. I'm the lab presenter. Now I will explain the qualitative research instruments used in our study. So in order to collect the required data, we use interviews as the main data collection method, which we follow with semi-structured interview design with open-ended questions. The interview schedule consists of 12 carefully designed open-ended questions. These questions allow the participants to freely share their personal experience, their feelings, and their understanding related to their mental well-being and academic learning. And the interview follow a semi-structured format. This means that although we prepare main question in advance, we also have flexibility to ask following-up questions when necessary. So we divide the interview question into two sections and four main themes. In section 1, start from question 1 to 3, we focus on student general university experience, including their progress and academic challenge. And from question 4 to question 6, we explore student personal understanding of mental well-being. In another section, which is section 2, from question 7 to 9, we examine student experience with stress, burnout, and also academic pressure. And the last question, which is question 10 to 12, we focus on how students perceive the influence of mental well-being on their academic learning. So in overall, this structure ensures that the data collection is detailed and it's experience-based, and it need to align with our research objective too. Now let's go to another part. So I would like to present the research procedure. Now I will explain our research procedure, especially the procedure of the interview. So first, we define our research objective and prepare the research question. The questions were carefully designed to guide our study and also ensure that we could collect relevant information. Next, we selected the participants by using convenient sampling. Our participants were chosen based on the criteria of our study. After selecting them, we contacted the participants and clearly explained the purpose of our research. And only those who agreed to participate were included in the study. After that, we scheduled the interview at suitable time for the participants. The interview were conducted online through Microsoft Teams using our prepared interview questions. And with the participant permission, the interview were recorded to make sure that all important data were accurately collected. And after completing the interview, the recording were transcribed into written text and subtitles were also added. So in overall, the collected data were organized and analyzed to support our research finding. For another part is limitation of the study. Even though we carefully planned and organized all three chapters, we still face some difficulty in each part of the research. For chapter 1, we had difficulty to identify the research gap. As we know, many previous studies has already focused on student perception, so it was challenging for us to clearly differentiate our study from the existing research. We did it to carefully analyze our topic and also make sure our focus was specifically on student perception, not on other cases like clinical or medical. Um, and we also faced some difficulty in chapter 2. We face challenges in defining and organizing the different theories in our theoretical framework. Moreover, writing a strong academic literature review was not easy. It required more time, effort, and reliable source, and it also required a good collaborative from our team. And because we had limited access to some academic database, guarantee in supporting material were quite also challenging for us. And in chapter 3, we also experienced difficulty in choosing the appropriate sampling size. Since our data collection method was interview, we had to carefully decide whether the number of participants was sufficient for meaningful analysis. We also needed to ensure that our sampling criteria were appropriate. Furthermore, because our participants were from only one university, the findings may not fully represent students from other universities. So despite this limitation, we worked really hard to collect the accurate data and complete our research on time without any delays. So I think it became an end of my presentation. So last, I would like to say thank you